and that old expression, buy low, but we hold, other people sell. That's the philosophy we adopted. So we bought a company called Lynn, about $2, and we bought the shares. They had warrants. Eventually, the company bought licenses in the cellular business. And when Don Pell was the president, when we got together with him, he said to us, you know, someday this business is going to be $100 million business. When he sold the company for $2 billion, just the cellular, it surpassed even the president of companies. They don't know sometimes what will happen to their stocks. But he developed 5 cities in cellular. As a result of meeting with him and the cable, we met Comcast presidents, and probably the best one was a man by the name of John Malone. That was about 1982, and he had a company called TCI. Well, by buying and holding that one stock, we now have 21 spin-offs. And in some of the companies, there's an A and a B stock and a C stock. And one stock is for management and 2 are for shareholders. I cannot determine what percentage we gained in those stocks. I don't even know the cost of any of the stocks. I know that several stocks we have a negative basis. And how do you get a negative basis? You get a basis lower than you paid, because eventually they pay a special dividend. And you don't have to pay a tax on the special dividend. So on several companies, you get a negative basis. And frankly, you have to have a buy and hold, because if you're averse to paying a lot of taxes, you just don't sell.
Now, can I ask you this? Can you guys hear okay back there? Yeah. You sure? Okay, good. So can you tell me the connection with McCaw?
Well,
Craig McCaw.
Craig McCaw, we owned Lynn Broadcasting, and we had a cellular division. At that time, we had to get 90% if we wanted to sell. Craig McCaw was getting into the business, and we knew him because his father was in the broadcasting business before. The media mafia, Harvey Sandler, Gabelli,
Mario
Gabelli, Gordy Crawford, a couple guys from Fidelity. We had a lot of Lynn stock. And
this is called Lynn, by the way, L-I-N-N, Lynn Cable.
Lynn Broadcasting. There were 2 bidders for our stock. One was the telephone company out of Atlanta, and Craig McCaw. So we sat in the front row at the meeting to decide who would. The president of the telephone company, none of us liked. We liked the stock because we did well in the stock, but Craig McCaw was a great guy. And the 5 of us gave him our positions, so he was able to get, and he started Craig McCaw Cellular. Some of you probably know. And the great thing about that, my kids were sailing once off the coast of Greece, and they saw a yacht 7 stories high, 300 feet long, and my son-in-law then worked for me, and he had met Craig McCaw, and they were shopping, and Craig McCaw was in the shop, and Kurt walked up to him and says, "I'm AaronFleck's son-in-law." Craig McCaw said, "AaronFleck, God, we owe him a big thanks." So he talked to my son-in-law for about 2 hours. His wife was tugging on him, the wife that he got divorced from. And they talked for hours. And those friendships that you made in the beginning of their companies, you stayed, and I have them to this day. I can call people, friends, to get information about companies, analysts, people that wrote the letters about, like Paul Kagan wrote 17 letters. He's still a friend, and we still talk about what we like and what we don't like. I personally, my philosophy is not to own a lot of companies. We own a few if possible and want to know everything about those companies in the past and the future. The future is more important than any past on any company. You have to know, and talking to management has to be good. You have to know management. You have to know where they want to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now. You want to know what their philosophy is building a company and whether they can achieve their goals. And they have to fit in with your goals, because your goals are important because we can't have one goal in investing. So we were lucky. We met the right people in Wall Street, and from them, hundreds of other people. I've never had a meeting where I've talked about this before, so this is a first for me. But meeting friends and talking to them and listening, and listening, and listening, and then a few questions.
Tell us about the one that you did. You gave a speech at a yacht club. Where was it, Sarasota?
I gave a speech once at a yacht club, and there was a U table. It was probably the first speech I ever made. It was in the,
Make sure it's nice and loud, please.
it was one of the first speeches I ever made before a group. And during the speech, I heard a member in the background saying, "Who let that Jew in? What do we need him?" So after the thing was over, a man walks up to me and says, "I like you, you know what you're talking about. I would like you to manage part of my portfolio." Well, he happened to be the number 2 man at IBM. He helped found IBM with the Watsons. So that's how I got in with IBM. He was a great guy when he was alive. I talked to them about mergers. None of them ever occurred, but I talked to them about taking over companies. But they always had an antitrust problem with everything I wanted to do with them. But it was a great contact. But I had some bad experiences.
Right, so listen, so you've had good deals and you've had bad deals.
Let me tell you some bad ones.
Tell us
We
about
have time.
the bad deals.
In 1972, a friend in Cleveland was going to take over a company. He needed $10 million, and he didn't want money. He wanted people to sign a note at a bank. So he went to 5 people, my brother and I were one of them, to sign a $2 million note at the bank. Well, we thought the guy was crazy. Not crazy in what he wanted to do, but just a crazy person in how he ran his companies. Later on, that zero investment is probably worth, I would say, the total company is worth about $2.5 billion, so you can figure it out. And that company was the New York Yankees. Another one, we've had quite a few failures, I can tell you that. It's not all rosy. About 15 years ago, there was a man in town here, but he was, what do they call him? What do they call him? The Pirate of Prague. And he came to us to help privatize the oil industry in Azerbaijan. Great idea. Probably the best idea that I've heard in my entire career, and potential results. We didn't get it because he did things that the president couldn't. Even though the papers were on the president's desk to sign, he did some crazy things they didn't sign. George Mitchell was one of our partners. He told George 3 times that we're getting the deal. I don't know what happened between Victor and the president. We didn't get it. We were going to end up with 55% of the oil industry and the cellular industry.